How's everyone doing tonight? Tyler saying that I'm late, but me timestamped to 8:30 as I click go live. I'm live on time. As long as I go live by 8:30:59, which I did. How's everyone doing tonight? Kind of a last minute scheduling of this one. I usually schedule them a few hours out, but my friends over there, Bierski and Ponga, and then peeked at you as well at Box Nostalgia. They threw me for a loop. I didn't know what to do. I was planning on going live tonight, and I saw Box Nostalgia going live at 9:30. It's like if I want to be before them, I have to go live at like 8, which I can't because that's when we put the kids to bed. And if I want to be after them, I have to go live at 11:30 and be up till almost 2. So I opted to go for the pregame party to Box Nostalgia. Whenever I end this, I definitely can't end by 9:30 when they're starting, but I'll plan on ending by like 10. I'll try, and we will raid them. We will raid. They will be only 30 minutes in full swing, probably hanging out for 90 plus minutes if I had to guess them. So yeah, I will raid them at the end. Don't let nobody let me forget to send everyone that way when we're done. I do not have the live stream redirect set up yet, but I will set that up later. Um, how's everyone going tonight? Jingle boom, jingle boom, jingle all the way, booming all the way. How's it going, Ivy? Nice to see you. Gym leader Pepe. We got Greeny in here with his poor English. If you're not 5 minutes early, you're late. Hive Mind Collectibles. Nice to see you. The Big Potato. I love the time zone you're in, and when you do these streams, they work out perfect for me. I'm glad to hear that. I hope these work out well. There's going to be content all night between this and Box Nostalgia at a minimum. I'm sure there's other content out there too, but that is where I will be sending everyone. As always, I'm going to be doing approximately 90 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, of Q&A, hanging out, live stream. We're booming. What do you guys want to talk about? Let me know in the comments. I will get to every question as I always do. Oh yeah, I was going to see who else was live, if anyone. I see Tekken Sports is live. I see Cool Trainer Ryan is live. But we will be rating Box Nostalgia. I apologize in advance to Bierski and Ponga and Peek That Chew for probably going into your live stream a little bit. But hopefully it will be forgiven with the raid. Adrol Darrow, much love to you and yours. Likewise, Old Man Dirt saying hello. Danazard saying hi to the flippers. Trow flexing the muscles. How about them Jets? The truest of fans. I mean, in this space, we talk a lot about TREW collectors. I am clearly, and anyone caught wearing one of these, like never question. What are the Jets right now? 2-11, 2-12. Never question my fandom. I don't know what the record is, so I guess my fandom isn't. But in a year like this, you just have to forget. So when they win the Super Bowl inevitably, sometime in the next 50 years, don't forget that I was wearing Jet shirts live on stream in front of 100 plus people when times were very tough. What are we buying now? Everything. So as per my website, I am buying loose packs at 70 to 75%. I am buying raw singles under $30 at 75%. And I am buying slabs under $50 over PSA 9, PSA 10. And I am buying those for 50 and under 75%. So that's what Danazard's buying Umbies. I didn't make any plays on that. I know a lot of people have been talking about naturally what terrestrial festival. Let me look up that name. I feel like I've been saying it wrong the whole time. Let me look up list of Japanese sets. I don't even know how to spell it. I've definitely spelled it wrong every time I've typed it, I think. High class, where are we? I don't even see it on this list. Terrestrial. Is it Terrestrial Festival? I feel like I've been saying it right, and a lot of people. I've heard people saying Terrestrial Festival. Everything I've seen though is TERASTAL, Terrestrial Festival. I feel like I've been saying it right, and other people have been saying it wrong. Terrestrial. I don't know. I want the Jets to win in 2025. I don't know what that would require. Probably would require Arceus intervention, which I don't think we'll be getting. But yeah, I want them to win games. I don't care if it's with Rodgers. I don't care if it's with uh, Brett Favre. I don't care who it's with. Win me games. No one's been doing it. The Jets have not sniffed the postseason longer than any other major professional sports team. 14 years, I believe it was, per DM from Greeny the other day. It's insane. It's insane. They just need to win. You play to win the game, said by a Jets coach who did not win many games. Let's see. Ann's bought Surging Sparks 18-pack half booster boxes. Am I cooked or are they good? They are as good as loose packs are, I'm sure. I treat anything that's not a sealed booster case or ETB case as loose packs. Like, individual boxes have no value to me aside from the 36 packs that they contain. So if anything, like, I don't want a Brilliant Stars booster box. I don't want I want a case of them. I don't want an Evolving Skies booster box, a loose one. I want a booster case of Evolving Skies. If it's a single box, I don't sell single boxes anywhere really. I guess occasionally I'll send them to PK and Ponga and they'll do a listing for like a single box, but for the most part, like, we want packs. We want packs as cheap as we can get them, and we want to rip people the Greninja. We want to rip people the Charizards, the Terapagos, the all the different hit cards, and we just want the cheapest way to get at those hit cards. I have no idea how half boxes do. They sound like they're just a big booster bundle. They sound pretty niche. My concern would be that they won't see the premium gains that something like a booster box or a booster box case would. So if you're talking strictly investing, that would be my concern. I hope you're not paying a substantial premium on them over the loose pack pricing. And if you're paying that, I think you'll be fine. Elder Vector says, just want to catch a quick look at the stream. Love to rewatch it most times as it's 2:30 a.m. here in Switzerland. Well, hello to you in Switzerland. I apologize. The time is not more Switzerland friendly. Pokeflips, though. Every other week, this Friday, actually, we're going to have an international guest on Pokeflips. And we go live on Pokeflips at 1:15 p.m. So that should be like a pretty reasonable time. That should be like 7:15 for you in the evening. But tune into Pokeflips and you will have a nice primetime evening content to consume. Have I bought a ton of the Crown Zenith Pika to grade? I've not bought that one. I do target a handful of different cards, maybe a couple dozen different cards, but I've not bought any of the Crown Zenith Pikachus to grade recently. I've gotten several of them actually in recent collection buys. I thought I had them right next to me still, but it doesn't look like I do. I love the card. I love Crown Zenith. There's a lot of good cards in it. But yeah, that is not one that I've targeted. I've not been causing that. I went live last week with Rob Does Pokemon, Rob Burns, and we had that interesting conversation about buyouts and is buying 100 copies of a card constituting a buyout if you're buying them with the intent to grade and sell them into the market. I think it's like cut and dry, objectively not manipulation to buy cards to grade them and then resell them into the market. But a lot of times these different commentary channels that look at TCG player charts and they see like, oh man, this card went from 80 to 90 and 50 copies got bought all at once. That is inorganic. That is not true. That can't be right. That is manipulation. No, that's probably just somebody doing a play on Graded Edge and trying to give the market what it wants. Cards encased in plastic. So yeah, as long as you're not deviously doing anything to like pump and then dump a card, I think it's all fair game. The Big Potato says, question, what is your take in this market with the new PC ETBs for Scarlet and Violet versus booster boxes? They seem to outperform booster boxes, but they are very hard to get a good position in since no distro. Yeah, I guess that's a pro and a con. One thing I like about them is that nobody theoretically has a big advantage getting them in significantly cheaper than I am, but the cons outweigh the pros for me personally because I just want to deal like in the most dense product available. I want to deal with sealed, not boxes, but cases. I want to deal with sealed cases that have the minimal amount of packaging and the minimal amount of air. Like if I squeeze this really hard, there's no void spaces in there. Nothing's going to happen. The product, I guess if I go this way, it's a little squishy. But I want deliver cardboard in the most dense fashion to me. Directly to my veins. That is what I want. That is what I want to deliver to the end consumer through the live streams. So, oh yeah, Terrastal. So I've said Terrastal Festival before, and I've had people like, no, that's wrong. That's not enough letters. That's not enough syllables. Terrestrial or something. I've definitely heard a lot of different ways it to be pronounced, but I thought I had it correct. So thanks, Sparks Media. I quick Google verifies, and then Sparks also verifying. But yeah, I think a lot of them have performed well. That's it's not to say that I don't think they'll perform well in the future. One thing I constantly say is we're all in the same arena, but we all have very different goals. We all have very different rules we play by, and we're all optimizing for different things. They just don't fit me well. They don't fit me well in that I want to place an order with a distributor, or I want to buy from a person that's selling multi-four figures all at once. I don't want to have to go and be called a bot by Pokemon Center's bot detection and, oh, hey, it got restocked. Every Discord getting pinged, all the restock alerts, and now I got to fight. I got to fight digitally amongst all the other people, all the robots, and try to get my amount for me. I want a distributor to email me and say, hey, you're allocated this much. Swipe your credit card. Boom, $20,000 spent. And then you'll get it a few weeks later, whatever it is. So yeah, that's my thought. My thought is it will likely potentially perform well for people, but they're not for me. I'm not the consumer for those. And says, so I'm cooked and lost everything pretty much. Brow went self-employed flipping slabs in UK thanks to Dan spilling all the sauce on how to win big. Popular species, high liquidity. Yes, look no further than Pop 30,000. No, not BGS 10 Pop 30,000, but Pop 30,000 Gray Felt Hat Pikachu. I love cards like that. Those are the perfect plays for me. More Prismatic Evolutions will likely come on Pokemon Center. It almost always does, but good luck. Good luck fighting it out with the bots. That is not really an area that I play in. Yes, I am drinking a Coca-Cola. Sorry to my diet, but I just needed a Coca-Cola tonight. When will you open your open PO box policy? Sellers send you raw card, you pay out 70 to 75%. Actually, I know you're memeing a little bit from the office hour earlier in the Patreon, in the paywall. But one thing that I am currently piloting, is I have access to a robot. Not me, the robot, but another robot. I have access to a Roka. And one thing that I'm currently doing with a couple different people is they're sending me a lot of raw cards. It has to be unsleeved because it has to be unsleeved for the Roka to be able to get them, to go through them. But if you don't want to go through TCG Player, if you don't want to go through Collector and scan everything yourself, I'm going to have the robot scan a list, and then I'm going to pay out off of the list. It requires a large amount of trust in me. Obviously, there's already a large amount of trust required when you send to me up front, knowing what you sent exactly. But if you're sending, I mean, anyone can have a pretty good idea. It's kind of like me with my live streamers. I send PK and Panga stuff all the time. I do not meticulously maintain an inventory on what I send them and then look at the stream and make sure they're streaming everything. They both know full well that they could skim a thing here and there, and I would never find out as long as they weren't getting crazy, skimming anything too large. But I'm putting reward systems in place for them, good hourly wages, that they would not risk for the benefit of potentially skimming a couple dollars here or there. So similar to this, I'm not going to screw around with anyone's trust to try to get a couple extra cards and pretend like they weren't there. But that said, the Roka is not infallible. I will set it to be as strict as possible, and I will set it so that it only classifies cards that it's very confident with, and it will have a reject bin So anything that's in the reject bin, I will just manually go through, or I will put them through a second time with lower things. But yeah, I'm gonna be buying. People are gonna like. It's not gonna be a wide open thing anytime soon. But I have a couple people that sent me like a few hundred cards, maybe 500 cards that I'm gonna Roka, and then pay them out a percentage based of what the Roka spits out. So memeing, but it's actually kind of like a thing that's seriously happening. I tried Olipop and it's not for me. I know Arnold Palmer has sucralose. Arnold Palmer has like fake sugar in it, but it has some real sugar too, or at least high fructose corn syrup. Uh I can't do it. The Olipop though, the stevia I can't do. High concentration of sucralose, I can't do it. Um I do actually I forgot. I took a couple notes. I wanted to start this one with a rant, but I was so last second going live. Um there's a couple follow-ups I wanted to do on my opportunity cost video that I guess I might get to them, I might not get to them. My opportunity cost video just came out Monday. If anyone has any questions regarding that, I was actually shocked. When I put out a video, I usually have a pretty good, kind of like when you pre-grade a card. You pre-grade a card and you're like, I think this is going to get a 9, maybe a 70% chance it'll get a 9 and a 30% chance it'll get a 10. When I put out a video, I'm pretty confident out of my last 10 videos, like this is going to be a 6. This is going to be somewhere between a 4 and an 8. Or if I put out a MetaZoo video, if I put out something like that, like this is going to be my 9th or 10th out of 10. Like this is not going to get many views relative to my last 10. When I put out the opportunity cost video on Monday, I fully expected it to be a 5 to an 8. I expected it to be like middle content, low middle content. I expected it to be 5th to 8th out of my last 10. And it's first. It's like a solid first, I want to say. Let me pull it up and check on my phone. Over 3,000 views in under a day and a half is very, like, that's crazy good for me. Let me see where we're at. I had a thing come off my shorts. A big stretchy fuzzy thing. Why is this not showing now? Oh, it's not my most recent video anymore since I had a short go up. I don't know if I can see the top 10 anymore. I thought you still could. But I have no idea what I'm doing in YouTube analytics. Yeah, I thought it was going to say... I thought it was going to say my ranking out of 10 still, but it doesn't anymore. Oh well, I guess I can't find that. But needless to say, I was shocked that that was a 1 out of 10 video. I was shocked I had the most views out of my last 10. Because I've been doing pretty well over the last 10 relative to most of the year with the boom that we're in. But yeah. Opportunity cost, a 30-minute video where I had no charts. I had no, like, it was just me talking to the screen like a live stream the whole time. It was surprising, pleasantly surprising to see it do so well. But yeah, a couple interesting thoughts that I had that I intended to cover in that video, but 30 something minutes and I still didn't get to them, which is kind of funny. Time. I had a couple people kind of push back on the time, like, oh well, talking about your MetaZoo singles, talking about selling energy lots, selling sleeves, whatever it may be. If you're making money, it makes sense. Like some people say, you can't go broke taking profits. And I understand the sentiment, but you can be doing the wrong thing, taking profits in the wrong items, if that makes sense. The opportunity cost of my time for me to be screwing around with some of the things that I screw around with. And the other day in my personal life, I had a very good demonstration example. Back in my past, back in my history, I had a PlayStation 3 that broke. And at the time, I was a broke college student. And I had a lot of time on my hands, and so I went to YouTube. Maybe it was high school or college. I went to YouTube, and I figured out how to fix it. And I fixed my PlayStation 3 for like $50. $50 and probably 3, 4, 5 hours to fix my first one. Figuring out how to troubleshoot it and this, that, and the other thing. But it was fun. I was tinkering around. I figured out how to fix it. I put a new Blu-ray laser like diode in it, and it worked. And what I did from that is I learned how to fix PlayStations. I bought broken ones. I fixed them. I made money. It turned into like a little side hustle, side hobby. for I think it was actually late high school, bridging into college. So throughout my life, I've been very much like I'm gonna fix it myself. I'm gonna figure out how to fix it. I'm gonna intellectually challenge myself to see that if I can do it. And recently, my I have a couple different like camera security system type things. Um, Probably being overly cautious, not saying what the manufacturers are, but a lot of these things are like they could be defeated fairly easily. Having redundancy, having more than one that work in different ways. I'm just not going to say the exact model that I have, the exact brand that I have, but I have one of the cheap DIY security systems, the video doorbell, that whole thing. And recently, the one camera failed, the doorbell camera failed, and I started down this rabbit hole of like, let me crack it apart. Let me look into fixing it. Let me see. I fixed TVs. I fixed washers, dryers, dishwashers. I fixed my furnace before. I've put a new igniter in there. I put new capacitors into the board, the power supply board on a TV, and I got years more out of it. But the other day, I'm starting down this rabbit hole. I screwed around on a YouTube rabbit hole for this video doorbell for like an hour, and I put new batteries in it, and I reset it, and I reset it, and this, that, and I thought about cracking into it. And I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm like, I'm kind of having a little bit of fun with it. It's a little bit frustrating, but it's also a little bit fun to try to like diagnose and figure something out. The video doorbell was like $30. The opportunity cost of my time, because some of it I was actually doing like midday on the clock, like during my 9 to 5 hours. And then some of it I was doing like later that night when the family was home. And it's like, what am I doing? The opportunity cost of my time. I could click a couple buttons and I could have a new $30 video doorbell tomorrow, and I could have it installed in 2 minutes. Or I could maybe spend 2 hours and have a 50% shot at fixing it. That is poor opportunity cost of my time. It's like I could be doing any one of a number of things that will pay me significantly more than the $15 an hour this might pay me. Like this might pay me $15 an hour, and I have countless tasks that I could do that I know will pay me 20 or 40 or 50 or $100 an hour. Like, what am I doing? I've tried to be better about that. I don't want to be wasteful. I don't want to like just immediately throw everything away and replace it with new. There's certainly a limit to that. But that was kind of a very solid demonstration, I think, of what it means to consider opportunity cost of one's time. And for certain people, that means another one that in my life is a reasonable thing that I could move past someday. But I don't think I'm there yet on that one. Mowing my lawn. I know people who, whether they're doctors or engineers or whether they do Pokemon full time, they say that my time is worth more than that. My time is worth more than that. I'm never going to change my own oil. I'm never going to mow my own lawn. I'm never going to plow my own driveway, snow blow my own driveway. I'm just going to pay to have all that done because I can likely pay people $50 an hour, $80 an hour, whatever it is. I either value my time enough because I make more during my day job than to do, or I just don't like doing that. They do it better, some combination of all of it. But one thing to keep in consideration too is the amount of people that like I know that have a landscaping person hired, and they get frustrated in the way that, oh man, I can't believe they mowed my lawn this way. I can't believe they did this, that, the other thing. Like you need to be aware. Like in the case of the doorbell, I clicked a couple buttons. I didn't have to interact with anybody, and it was just directly like 2 minutes versus 2 hours, done and over with. If I start hiring someone to mow my lawn, it's going to cost a lot more, and I'm going to have to deal with them. I'm going to have to see them occasionally. I'm going to have to, oh, I have a party planned for this day, and they didn't get the lawn mowed in time. Or they're trying to mow it the day that I told them I had a party, and they couldn't mow it. They had to mow it before it. Those are the kinds of things that need to enter your calculus. And I know this is kind of a silly thing to talk about in Pokemon, but like those same things come with your business. There's a cost to hiring a shipper. There's a cost to hiring a streamer. Some direct, very easy to calculate, very easy to figure out. But right now, like I don't pack orders anymore. I don't pack orders for the live streams anymore. I interact with my live streamers though. So it's like you get rid of some part of it, but you introduce others, and just always weighing the benefits of each and not doing nothing all day, trying to calculate and weigh every possible combination of everything that could possibly happen. But it's just interesting to think through like all the layers that go into which is actually preferable to the other. if it makes any sense. How often are you throwing parties out in the middle of the woods, says Brad. I used to do, so before we had kids, I used to make it a point to do, like, I always have people over for the Super Bowl, and then I used to just do like a big party every summer. Lately it's like we'll do one of the kids' birthday parties at our house, and a lot of times one will be away. But I like having people over. I like having beverages with friends and family. I like running the smoker, making a bunch of nice smoked meats. So I like having a few decent sized get-togethers every year, and I kind of got out of it between the pandemic and having young children and moving and all this stuff. I've gotten away from it, but I want to get back into it at some point soon. Appreciate you, Pokemon Wonder, saying the opportunity cost video was Chef's Kiss. And David said, this is why I mow my own lawn. No one else can do it right. Part of me doing it is like, I know the amount of frustration that I would have dealing with someone mowing mine. Like, just dealing with them, setting it up. I'd be paying more money. Like, I've run the number side of it, but you also need to take into account the frustration side. And frustration comes from both dealing with the person that would be doing it or dealing with my mower when it breaks, right? Like, I don't have to deal with my mower if it breaks because I won't have a mower if I'm paying someone else to do it. But all these things, whether you're talking mowing your lawn, whether you're talking whatever you're talking about, whether you're talking about replacing your video doorbell, replacing the igniter in your furnace, replacing the heating element in your dryer, all these things are like an interesting weighing of opportunity cost. And it's not always all financial. Some amount of it is peace of mind. Some amount of it is sanity. I very much like not dealing with eBay messages, not dealing directly with the customer complaints and issues. I like that I have the buffer of PK and Ponga. Since they're starting out, they've been coming to me with like, hey, the customer said this, hey, the customer said that. I'm gonna deal with more of them up front, but down the line, like, I'm gonna train them to where they shield me from 95% of customer interactions. There will be the occasional one where they have to escalate it to me, but me being out of there, I deal with them. I don't deal with the general public. I like that aspect of it. I like managing the live stream portion of the business, sourcing only. I guess I do. I have to deal with the buying side. I have to deal with those customers, which I guess are more suppliers than customers. But that is a preferable thing to me because I can like here's an example right here. This is one 5-row box that I frantically put into this because it was back here before the stream started. But this was one buy I made earlier. Hundreds of packs, slabs, singles, all kinds of stuff. And that one interaction that I had with a customer, my customer, which essentially a supplier, that will feed 100 or more consumers that I don't have to have those 100 interactions. I don't have to ship all those individual things. I have to ship this stuff one time to PK or Ponga. And how that works out, like, I'm making less money, opportunity cost. I'm making less money because I'm paying someone else to do it. But I'm paying someone else to do the aspects of the job that I don't want to do as much. And I'm trying to optimize my time to get me as far as I can in the 40 to 50, 60 hours a week that I devote to this business. Question, are we booming? Yes, we are. I am at the bottom of chat right now. I will scroll back up. I will make sure I get all questions. But that is one thing I wanted to cover. Opportunity cost on my time. How silly it was. How silly it was to... I spent over an hour planning to spend more time on a video doorbell that cost me $30 to replace. Very, very silly. In the future, if my Switch ever breaks, if a PlayStation ever breaks again, like, I probably will never, not anytime soon at least, fix a PlayStation 3 again. That, like, the way that went, that was just a different time in my life, and it made sense then, and it spun off this little spun off this little video game repair business that I had going for a while. I had fun with it. I don't regret any of it. But these days, my calculus is different. I'm the same person. I'm the same person who likes to play around with something. Maybe there's a chance. Maybe there's a chance my son or daughter has a PS5, PS6, PS7 someday that breaks, and we dive into it together. That would be a way that I could justify doing it, is if I'm diving in again, but like tying the kids in, showing them, teaching them, learning with them. That would maybe get it to make sense. But yeah, let me continue on. Question, are terrestrial boxes from Japan all coming loose because they are searched for God pack boxes? I do not think that would be the case. I do not think that there is any kind of a guarantee on God Pack boxes being included, like one per case or anything. I've bought both sealed cases of Terrastal Festival and loose boxes of Terrastal Festival. Um, there's some amount of risk, I guess, but generally speaking, the way that I understand it, I think a lot of them end up loose because it's just easier to ship that way. I think you can get like 40 loose boxes in some configuration that wouldn't. I guess you could get a different box size that would probably fit 2 cases just as easily, but I wouldn't broadly have that concern. But I could be wrong though too. Maybe there's a way. Maybe there's a weight. I don't know though. I can't confidently say. Um, Speaking of the 18 pack displays, this is actually not a US Twilight Masquerade box. This is a, I don't know if all of them say it, but this says UKCA on the back. This actually I bought. I imported this from the UK because some of that stuff is more available internationally than it is domestically. So yeah, I will be talking about that more in the coming days in some future content. So stay tuned on that. I do have Pokeflips on Friday, so maybe we have a special international guest that will be talking about this and more. Go follow over at Pokeflips if you want to check that out. Let's see. When are you and James starting your Banks Suck podcast? I would be up for starting that anytime James is ready. I like the smaller booster bundles as a whole, to be honest. They make a great compact display. The big square ones are ugly. Yeah, I don't know why they've been bouncing around so much with their different configurations on the booster bundle displays, but I like the ones that have the least amount of air in them. Please, Pokemon, save our planet. Please, Pokemon, keep things as tightly packed as possible. Give me the minimal amount of air and added plastic. Like, I like that this is durable. It's less likely that I'm going to have issues with somebody saying, hey, the packaging is crunched. You shouldn't be able to crunch the packaging because it should be densely packed with cardboard. Question follow-up to my question about PC ETBs versus booster boxes. What's your take on their liquidity as well? Both short and long term, I think booster boxes would be better because rip and shippers. Booster boxes are peak liquidity. The core product in the hobby is the booster pack. I think booster packs will always be like the gold, like booster cases, packs, boxes. That lineup. Booster cases, boxes, packs. They are the gold standard. They are the core product because they are the most direct way to get the ultimate item. The ultimate item being the single, being the individual card that people are after. That is the most direct way to deliver that to someone, the most dense, compact way. So yeah, I just significantly like those more than PC ETBs, regular ETBs, booster bundles, anything else that adds any kind of error or complexity to it. TCG Collectors, a second time catching you live. Been watching you for years. Bought your Team Rocket packs, Mysterious Pearl from you in the past. Appreciate you, TCG Collector, for being here and buying. Strauss says price predictions for first few months after release for PC ETBs. 15 cases on the way. Please give me hope. Is that for Prismatic? I have no idea. There's as I always say, Dan's gonna say the thing that he always says. One of the 20 things he always says. There's an amount of Prismatic Evolution Pokemon Center ETBs they could print that would keep them in stock for years at 65. I don't think they'll print that many, though. I think they'll print an amount that causes them to sell out on Pokemon Center, and I think they'll go up to some silly price in some silly short time duration. The consumer base right now is so FOMO-y, stonking, I don't know what it all is, but the consumer is just willing to empty their wallets into anyone's coffers that are selling any kind of product. It's mind-blowing how Scarlet Violet base, all these Scarlet Violet sets are like 120 now, 120 plus. Mind-blowing how booming we are right now. People are just insatiable demand. Some amount of it is investor demand, people acting in the middle, people scalping off the inability for consumers to help themselves and stop buying product at obscene pricing. But as long as people are willing to pay, the pricing will go up. Yeah, it is what it is. Distributors are investing, investors are investing. It's wild how much product is being held up. I don't know if I want to say artificially, but kind of abnormally relative to history. How much product is being retailed by distributors instead of distributed by distributors? Because people are paying it. There's the blame. All these scalpers, think of the children. The end consumer is the most to blame, because people wouldn't be able to scalp if people weren't willing to pay 2-3 times MSRP out of the gate. So the fact is that some large portion of people are willing to pay some large portion of money to get this product at all costs, and everyone has to pay more because of it. Dang, go to Fort Lauderdale Collecticon. I don't know when that one is, but that one is not largely on my radar, I don't think. Is that one of the early ones? Let me pull up. I'm going to pull up the post in the Discord. I know I pinned it. Fort Lauderdale appears to be March 29th to 30th. I think that's unlikely. I don't have strong reasons why. It's just not on my radar. I have nothing on my calendar as of yet for March 29th to 30th. Let me see what the school calendar is. I wonder if... I like that it's March, though. I like Fort Lauderdale in March a lot better than Orlando in May, because I've not yet been to Fort Lauderdale. Let me see the school calendar quick, and let me see when spring break is. It's not that weekend. So what's blue? Vacation days. So February is vacation, but not Orlando. I'm sorry, not Atlanta. Looks like April there's another break. The late April there's another break that coincides with Houston. The 1 week off. But yeah, I don't know. I don't see likely Fort Lauderdale being on the radar, but it's not entirely off either. I don't know exactly. If I had to guess which Collecticons I would be targeting this year, there's 2 Chicagos. I would pick one of them. I probably won't go to both. One is October, one is April. I don't feel strongly about either one. Could be either, but almost certainly one of them. New Jersey, there's one in July. There's one in November. I would lean towards the July one. So I'll probably do New Jersey in July. Maybe I'll do Chicago in October. Charlotte in August. And then I would like to add a new one. Each year I'd like to do one new location. Kansas City's bad because it's so close to Charlotte and Chicago. And then it's also near my anniversary, so that's not good. Maybe Cleveland, Ohio in June, because that would be a new location. Fort Lauderdale could happen, I guess. I'm going to leave Fort Lauderdale as a potential. Yeah, Mason says Paradox Rift at 120 from Distribution. It's so dumb. I was posting in Discord earlier some of the deals, so I can get without limit. I made a joke in Discord earlier that the Charizard UPC reprint is in. It's here. I can buy Charizard UPCs from one distributor without any limit. Guess what my cost is? $177. That is not a reprint. That is not, I do not think, a restock. That is distributors investing in product and releasing it later down the line when it goes up. That is distributors scalping, investing, retailing, whatever you want to call it. It's crazy. It is absolutely wild. I can also buy all the Stellar Crown I want without limit for $110. I can buy, there's a couple other things. I think Scarlet Violet base, all I want without limit for $120 a piece. Higher than Hills Wholesale Gaming is my distributor. It's the time of the year that we're in. It's crazy. Greeny wants to go to Fort Lauderdale. Let me scroll back up and make sure I don't miss anything. Is there a way to beat the bots? Every time I try to order Prismatic, the bots have it sold. If you can't beat them, join them, is what I hear. I do not have any bots, but that's probably the only way. If you can't beat them, you probably have to pay for a bot scalping service, and you probably have to pay to play, and it would probably pay for itself. Like those, there are Discords out there that you get access to earlier pings than others. There are Discords out there that are a lot more expensive. I've heard of some Discords that are like $100+ a month, but you actually get you get a bot. You put in your information and it will bot you. I don't know how they work exactly. I've never used one. But yeah, I don't think there's a way to beat them. You just would have to use one if you want to beat them. Danazard, hit me up if you want to be one of the pilot guinea pigs for the Roka sorting of yeah, DM me. I talked about it quite some time ago, but yeah, let me know. We could talk about it. Surprise live indeed. Please send PK a couple banger PSA 10 PK and Dragonite slabs for the Fanatics live. I need to spend my PSA credit for Fanatics by the end of the year. He probably has some incoming. I want to say this week. Counting these ones. Let me see if there's any Pikachu or Dragonites here. Counting these ones that are going out to him tomorrow, probably. Here's a PSA 10. I don't know if it's a banger, but it's a PSA 10 Pikachu slab. There's a PSA 10. It's the common. Yeah, it's a common. It's a non-holo, so it's not like it's a reverse holo from EX era. But there's a not as frequently seen EX era Pikachu PSA 10. These ones are all going to PK probably Friday actually, because I already have a carload earmarked for PK tomorrow. I try to not overwhelm my local office supply store that takes the UPS packages. But this week and last week, he's probably getting like 300 to 500 new slabs. Maybe not that much. Yeah, probably 300 to 500 new slabs. So hopefully there's some Pikachu and Dragonite in there. Glenn is planning a trip to Japan next year, trying to go when Glory of Team Rocket releases. Am I able to buy boxes at the Pokemon Center, or is scalping rampant there too? If you are going to Japan trying to source product, you might have a bad time. I have heard from people who've gone. I've never went myself, but I've heard oftentimes prices are cheaper on like eBay in the US than they are on the ground floor sometimes in Japan. A lot of times they will open the box for you. They'll take the shrink wrap off to prevent scalping, to prevent flipping, whatever it may be. Do not think that Japan will be the oasis of product at retail, plentiful as far as the eye can see. It does not sound like that is the case. Appreciate you, Hawaiian50. Aloha, everybody. Please don't forget to smash that like button. Mahalo. Appreciate you. Hope you're doing well as well. Yes, there is a limit though. So as I was talking about earlier, thinking opportunity cost, trying to min-max everything, at some point you just have to like enjoy life too. You can't spend your entire life on a calculator. You can't spend your entire life in a spreadsheet. You need to actually live and do things. So a lot of these calculations are more quickly made, estimated. They're not so actual pen to paper calculating the exact numbers. A lot of them are done based on feels, based on vibes, very quickly. But those are some of the considerations that go into them. Those are some of the thoughts that go into them. Yeah, there's always a blend. I always say, be careful. Don't go broke on good deals so that you're broke when great deals come along. But also, don't spend your whole life waiting for the great deal, waiting for the once-in-a-lifetime deal. That might never come. If you set your threshold too high, if this is my hurdle that needs to be cleared, if I'm only going to buy product that I find at 10% of market, I will always be liquid. I will always be ready to buy. I will almost never find stuff at 10% of market. So I will be waiting for the once-in-a-lifetime deal that never comes, and I'll never buy anything, and I'll never do anything. So you just got to like nibble at the good deals. The good deals are always there. Every day there are good deals to be had. It's all relative, but you've got to play it by ear. You've got to navigate it the best way you can. Nibble here and there while good deals are there, and set some benchmark. Like I have certain liquidity goals that I am in strong violation of right now. I have been going broke on better than good deals, but not quite amazing deals. I've been going broke on buying 75% product for live streams that I know I'll make margin on. But part of the reason that I was buying it 80% a month ago, and I'm only buying it 70 to 75% now, is because I had more access to product than I thought. When I said I was paying 80% on slab, singles, and sealed, a lot more than I expected came to my inbox. So I lowered my percentage. 80% is a good deal, a reasonable deal, I think. 75% is a better deal. 70% is a great deal. I think 60% is an amazing deal. If I could only buy for 60% and have enough inventory to keep everything fed, I would. I don't have the following for that. I don't know how many people would. Most people I know buy at least 70%. But yeah, that's just some additional commentary towards don't go broke on good deals, but also don't only wait for great deals because you might buy nothing and you might have nothing to sell. Yeah, you might wait 6 months for a great deal and you miss out on 7 to 10 in the meantime. So you never know. Like a lot of these things will just pop up without warning. So it is an impossible task to perfectly optimize it. Going back to what we just talked about a minute ago, you can't min-max everything. You can't min-max your sourcing 100% of the way. But do the best you can. Do the best you can, and that's all you can do. Those two fit together very well. Thundermoo traded winter storage space in my barn this year for lawn mowing, saved me 3 to 4 hours a week. I do miss turning my brain off, though, for a few hours to cut grass. I do like a couple, 1 hour every few days, every 4 to 6 days, I guess, is about what I mow my lawn. I like the turning the brain off, mowing, being one with nature to some extent, listening to my favorite podcasts, and I do kind of enjoy mowing the lawn. I don't have a commute anymore, so mowing my lawn is like my commute to an extent. I start at home/work and I end at home/work. Absolutely. I think you're overthinking it. Do you worry how PK packed orders? I'm not sure what I was saying at the time. I'm sorry, Justin. If you can re-elaborate. I showed PK and Ponga how I pack orders, and then I believe they're packing the same way, but they would be open to packing. If they had a way they would rather do it, they would be open to that. But I think they're using the way that I am, because I'm buying the supplies for them. So they're using all the supplies that I use. I'm pretty sure they're doing it the same way. Would I ever get to a point where I outsource grading? I mean, I buy slabs, so I am outsourcing grading to some extent, right? Some of the slabs that I'm buying are grading misses, but some of them are grading hits too. Like, looking at this stack, so these are all 9s. These ones are 9s in this small little stack. And these ones are 10s. These 3 are 10s. Had I graded these myself, I would have been in cheaper but maybe not though. Maybe I wouldn't have been in cheaper because I would have had to buy 5 raw to find 1 to sub or 2 to sub, and I would have gotten 1 10, 1 9. But now I just got the 10 at 75%. So to an extent, me buying grading cards is outsourcing grading. Will I ever stop grading myself entirely? No, I don't think so. I like grading. I'm a gambler, and grading is inherently some amount gambling. It's not as gambling as a roulette wheel. It's not as gambling as blackjack. Not as gambling as opening a booster box. But there's some gambling there. There's some variance. Could be 8, 9, 10, depending on the day. I actually just had my grades pop earlier. And actually, where'd he go? Okay, I see Bierski. So yes, Bierski is in here. I don't know if he's still in here or not, but we will be raiding later. Whenever we end tonight, we will be raiding Box Nostalgia. Bierski will be live with Ponga and Peak Dat Chew. So I will send you guys over there for their conversation. But yeah, let me go back to where I was. I just wanted to shout out Bierski while I saw him. So I will never stop grading entirely. I had grades pop earlier. When you get the Your Grades Are Available email, it is a sight to behold. It is fun going in and seeing what your grades were. I don't think I have any new ones. But yeah, I had some pop earlier. I graded the Chinese 5th anniversary promo, and I went 17 out of 18 on PSA 10s. So that was very, very nice. Those ones I was quite confident. Those cards are pretty bulletproof. So yeah, I will always be, to some extent, I will be making plays like this. I will be buying promos in mass, grading some of them, selling some of them raw. But some percentage of that is already outsourced. I actually just bought recently. I haven't bought these in a while, but I bought like 100 of these. Came today. I actually haven't bought these in a long time, but I bought these. I don't know. I probably won't grade any of these, given how low. I think the PSA 10 is turning up though. I think the PSA 10 is starting to go up from what it was, but years ago, I graded hundreds of these bad boys with CGC, with BGS, and with PSA. But yeah, I will always, to some extent, be buying and grading. Not Cool says, I'm a collector first, investor second. The vibe I have from the insane buyouts / price increases over the last 4 weeks is that this level of buying is simply unsustainable. Yeah, I don't know which ones you're looking at specifically, but like if you're talking about a buyout, occasionally I will go through and I will buy 30 to 50 of this card all at once. And I might single-handedly take the price up from 70 to 85. That's not me manipulating the market. That's not me buying out. Some of the other ones that I've showed that are like bear market plays, and Skya, these are coming to you. These are in the Skya box. Some of my missed grading opportunities. I'm not going to show them all, but some of the ones that I always talk about and I always show. I'm not manipulating the market if I buy 100 of these. I'm just trying to find 50 to grade or 60 to grade, and then I'm selling my grading misses. If I were manipulating the market, I wouldn't sell on a TCG player under the Catch 'em All Collectibles name, and I wouldn't tell you to not buy from me. I sell my grading misses on TCG player. This is one that I've showed before too. I sell my misses on TCG player under Catch 'em All Collectibles name, and I tell people on this channel, if you're trying to buy to grade PSA 10s, do not buy from me on TCG player because they're all my grading misses. The economy's cooking right now, and the conditions are absolutely perfect for this bull run, but it won't last. They never do. They never last indefinitely. Bitcoin can't go up 25% every week, every month, every quarter, even every year, even. Not like nothing can just go up 25% month over month, year over year into perpetuity. How's it going? L Dubs, Alex Ortiz, Matt. Does the UK have a different printer? I don't know. I don't know. I think that stuff's printed in the US and then shipped over there, but I'm not entirely sure. Maki says, Dan, I should have thrown against you. I made a mistake. Yes, I am very mad at myself for losing to you last week. Because even though I was the top scorer this week, it still wasn't enough. It was enough to get me $25, but it was not enough to get me into the playoffs. I'll probably score like 90 next week, so it probably would have been no big deal, no matter. But yeah. Yeah, the Pokemon market is booming. The New York Rangers are not booming right now. I do not know what's going on there, but hopefully they turn it around. Pokemania says, question, where is a good place to consign over 30K modern sealed product? Someday in the future, I hope my Fanatics will again be a good place. So this used to be, if you asked me 3 months ago, I would have said Fanatics because I used to be able to consign your sealed product. Anything above 480, I would net to you 93.33%. Anything above 2400, so like Evolving Skies booster cases, I could net you 95% on back when Fanatics took sealed. Sadly, they stopped taking sealed. I think they will again in the future. I have no insider information, but I hope they do in the future. I feel like they might be working with like the whole CT scanning companies. There might be a silver lining to all that CT scanning stuff, and we might be able to get sealed product authentication in the future. I hope that's the case, but as of right now, I would point you towards Probstein. Does it? I think DC Sports might do it as well, but Probstein on eBay might be one of your only places to do it. If you were to start out today with all your current knowledge, what would you do differently compared to when you started? So I started 10 years ago. The market's very different from 10 years ago. If I were to start tomorrow, today, yesterday, like if I were to start now, I would, like starting with no Instagram, no YouTube, all that stuff. I would start an Instagram. I would start a YouTube. I would start a whatnot. I probably wouldn't have ability to start an eBay Live or a Fanatics because they're closed systems and I wouldn't have access to it. I would start a whatnot and I would go for the streaming. I would go towards content creation. That is where most of this stuff is being buoyed by, in my opinion. Most of this stuff is ending up with live streamers. The amount of money being pumped through live streams is absolutely crazy. The liquidity that it brings, all the different things that it brings that I did not have access to 10 years ago is wild. Likewise, Pullfather, nice to see you. I appreciate you. Normies won't buy prismatic ETBs for 120 a pop. Some people are. I don't know who, but two-tiered market. How's it going, Basic? Nice to see you. Nice to see Basic doing the occasional MetaZoo Monday live stream. Nice to get the Basic content back. Grimer says Fort Lottie's a skip. Dan, where do I sell my sealed cases product? Depending on what they are. I'm not buying as aggressively as I was. But depending on what they are, I am buying some sealed cases of product at 75 to 80%. Feel free to email me, reach out, contact form on my website, Instagram DM, Discord DM, whatever means you want to contact me through. If not me, I know like Alex is buying for live streams all the time. I know there's a lot of live streamers always buying. Cases though, depending on what they are, they might be selling at a premium, what I would want to break for a stream. Like I don't buy a case of Sword Shield product and then rip it for streams, because the price is double what the loose packs are. I don't buy an Astral Radiance box, a sealed box to rip for streams. I buy loose packs that come from breaking down all the tins, collection boxes, whatever they may be, because they're like half the price of booster boxes. Florida in March does sound nice. Have I been to Card Party yet? It's God tier Pokemon stuff out to Yin Yang. I'm going to Tampa next year. So I'm targeting the Card Party that is in Washington. I'm targeting the Seattle, Washington area Card Party next year. I can't confidently say that I'm going, but I am intending to go. Cleveland is drivable for me. Fort Lauderdale is not drivable. Question, my PSA membership renewed today. Does that mean I have another Fanatics credit to use? I thought that was the case, but I'm not seeing an email saying otherwise like the first time. Maybe they've discontinued doing them. I hope that is not the case. But it is my understanding that when you get a new PSA membership, you will also get a new code for Fanatics. I've had people, maybe the last time I heard somebody directly tell me this, probably like a month ago. Probably a month ago, someone said, hey, my PSA just renewed and I got a new credit. So I'm gonna be on the stream tonight. Hopefully that's not ended. Hopefully that's not ended. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, Rattle has a Discord that has free notifications. I've heard that some of the Twitter PTCG drops, some of them are faster than others, some are slower than others. I don't know which one's which. I don't play in that whole space. But yeah, there are various Discords out there that have free bot notifications. Shout out to the Rattle Discord. Start there. See how well his free bot notifications work. And not bots like he doesn't have bots that you use to buy the product. He has notifications that ping you to your phone in Discord and say, hey, this just dropped on Target. This just dropped on Pokemon Center. And then you try to fight it out with the bots and buy your stuff. And if that doesn't work, maybe you go deeper down the rabbit hole to get to something that works better. But yeah, start there. It's free and it's easy. The Roka will be, yes, Sky, you will be getting fed in 2025 better because the Roka is ready to go for that. Sourcing in Japan is dark now, physically in Japan. I know some people. I see like Gem Mint Pokemon going over there. I see Collectible Nomad on Instagram. I see Cloud went over there recently. And I see people coming up with like Master Scrolls. And I see people coming up with stuff. But it's not going to be what you think it's going to be. If you think it's going to be some big mystical oasis of retail, high availability, all this product. And if some shops offer 50% trade-in and people take it, like I don't think there's anything inherently immoral with offering someone. If you say, so say you're selling me a box. I'm not gonna use any single thing. Say I own an LGS or I'm at a card show and you have an item that's $200 and I offer you $100 cash for it. Could you likely get more elsewhere? Yes. But as long as I'm not doing one of a few different things, as long as I'm not lying, cheating, stealing, if I tell you, hey, I offer you $100 for this, like the way that I transact, I will say, I just comped this at 200. Here's my phone. Here is how I got the 200. I will offer you 75% on that. I will give you 150 cash. So I think that's like the best way to do it. I think the best way to do it is just maximum transparency, maximum visibility. Here is how I got to the number. Here are the numbers themselves. I am offering you this percentage of those numbers. I don't think everyone has to do that though. If someone comes and they look on their phone and they say boop boop boop, oh, 200, and they don't tell anyone anything, and they just say, here's $100 bill, I will trade you this for that. If the person asks like, oh well, is that what it's worth? If you say, oh well, it's worth 100 and I'm paying you 100, that's wrong. Like, you need to, if asked, you shouldn't lie. No lie, cheat, steal. No lying, cheating, stealing. I don't think offering somebody a number for an item is lying, cheating, or stealing. But if you say like, oh well, that's worth 120, when you actually see that it's worth 200 in recent sales, and the low list is like 220, that's wrong. If you're lying, manipulating, cheating, stealing something out of it. But for someone to just say like, hey, you have that item, I have this much money, do you want to trade? That is entirely fair. If some LGS, if some online card store, if some person puts up a buy list, like right now, I'm buying Crown Zenith packs at 350. That is slightly under 70%. I've bought over 10,000 of them in the past month. People are probably paying more than me. I don't think it's unreal. Like, I've had some people at times when I make an offer and they're like, oh no, I'll just go get more elsewhere. And you can never tell what someone means behind what they're saying. You can never read, like, obviously in text, you can't hear the inflection, you can't hear the tone. But I've definitely gotten some people that were like, I can't believe he's offering so low. I'm going to go get more elsewhere. Like please do. That's perfectly fine. I just say, hey, right now, and it's not like an item like a loose Crown Zenith booster pack. It's not like it's hard to figure out what these are going for on TCG Player. But I say like, hey, I'm paying 70 to 75% on most packs. But Crown Zenith, I had one individual offer me over 10,000 Crown Zenith packs at, I think 75% is like 390. They wanted 390 a pack. I love Crown Zenith. I don't want 10,000 more of them for 390 a pack. I don't want to spend $39,000 right now. I can't spend $39,000 right now on Crown Zenith because I need to buy other things. And I already have months worth of Crown Zenith. But, so yeah, like I might not be at times. I might not be your best buyer for Crown Zenith or for slabs or for raw singles. But sometimes if I'm really behind, if Crown Zenith's ripping and PK and Pong are like, hey, I'm sold out of Crown Zenith, and I might be paying 85%. I will make all this information in the future. I will make all of it live on my website. As of right now, I do not have it as up to date as I wish. I think I'm still at the same spot I was last week on the website, the status of the website. But in the future, I will get the website, the homepage of my website, to show what I'm paying generally across slabs, sealed, and singles, and what I'm paying on certain packs. I shipped my Secret Santa gift today. So I did reach out to Professor Oak on the date of the deadline, which I know was, I believe, 1 week ago. And I said, hey, I still have some things coming in. I got a solid package together, I think, for my Secret Santa recipient. So I think they will be very happy. I am very confident that it will get to them in time before Christmas. I'm somebody, I actually have over there, I'm looking at my Secret Santa box. I'm not opening it. I wait to open it till Christmas. So part of it was me intentionally procrastinating so that I could make it more likely that my individual opens it on or after Christmas. And part of it was like genuinely waiting for a couple things that just took longer to get here than I expected. So that is shipped. I appreciate you and Oak's patience with that and understanding. Hopefully I'm not banned from Secret Santa next year. I did email it back to Oak as well. What are Dan's favorite podcasts? So I'm assuming you're talking non-Pokemon, or are you talking Pokemon? This was probably asked when I talked about listening to my favorite podcasts on my lawnmower. So one of them that I really like in the finance space is the Afford Anything podcast. It's by Paula Pant and Joe Saul-Sehy. They are two quite bright individuals that are deep into the financial independence space. And I think they have really cool guests from time to time. He's a guest. It's mainly her thing. he comes on for one recurring podcast, and then she occasionally will have just her. She'll have guests on. So I listen to that a lot. There's also two sides of financial independence. There's a guy who is recently financially independent, and then there's another guy who is pre-financial independence. He actually recently, now they're both on one side of FI. I think they're both financially independent now. But those are two like good finance podcasts that I listen to regularly. I do listen to Tosh's podcast, Daniel Tosh. He used to have Tosh.0 back in the day on the Comedy Central. I was a big fan. I love his comedy. I used to really like his show. And he interviews just random people. I've watched every episode. He did one with his son. He had they're like 45-minute, more mainstream podcasts. They touch on whatever. One time he had his son on. He's talking about having his wife on in the future. He had his sommelier, the wine tasting people. The most recent one was his sommelier, talking about wine tasting and all this and that. He had his travel agent person on before. He had his handyman on before, the guy that like fixes things around his house. He's had his mechanic on, I believe, his car dealer on. He just has like everyday people on from around his life that he finds interesting. And I really like hearing the way his banter, his comedy that he injects into it, and just talking about like everyday topics. So Tosh's podcast is probably the one I most regularly follow now. That's entirely non-Pokemon, non-finance. It's just a mass appeal general podcast about life. I occasionally, for a while in the sports arena, I was watching the Kelsey brothers one. I've not watched that in quite some time now. Less of a podcast, but I occasionally watch the Pat McAfee show, who he's really funny. He's a former NFL punter, and he has this show it's on like ESPN and stuff. He's live on YouTube all the time. I occasionally watch that. So there's a little bit in Pokemon. I've talked about them all a million times. If I list them out in Pokemon, I'll forget one or two. So I don't want to do that. But I have talked many times about all the ones I listen to in Pokemon. So hopefully, Mason, I covered enough of what you're after. Probably more than you were after with that. MetaZoo Mondays. Saying what my favorite podcasts are. The Forgiven One says, so is it safe to grade with Beckett? Is the CEO problem not going to cause any problem? I genuinely don't know. I am still sending to Beckett. I believe, so talk versus walk. I believe so strongly that this Beckett, the owner of the company that owns Beckett, it's not like the direct sole owner of Beckett. It is like the owner of the company that owns Beckett, the way that I understand it. I don't think they're going to like close shop overnight and steal all of your cards. I could be wrong. Tomorrow, news could drop that they have closed overnight and they stole all everyone's cards. So like, don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. If it happens, it sucks. I will lose thousands of dollars. I have a bunch of these there. I have some of the Chinese promos there. I am continuing for now, sending out to them semi-regularly still. So that's all I can say. Oh, I see what you're saying, Pokemon Wonder. So yeah, outsourcing lawn work, like outsourcing the packaging and stuff, the live streaming. I am buying some wholesale sealed product from the UK and otherwise. I am dealing with some people who are doing some geographical arbitrage on products that are cheaper across the pond, and I'm buying them brought to here. I recently bought a bunch of Paldean Fates, and I recently bought a bunch of Twilight Masquerade from across the pond that's quite a bit cheaper than I can get here. And I'll be talking about that more on Friday on Pokeflips, so stay tuned there. What are Ponga and PK's live streams, and where do they stream? They don't exactly have great SEO or easily link their stuff on their social media. I actually haven't checked that. I hope that in their bios on their various Instagrams and stuff, I hope they have it linked somewhere. I know they occasionally will do a story. The PK has his YouTube linked in his bio on his Instagram. Does he link? He's definitely linked it a couple places. I think he has it in the link of his, yes, he does. So in the description of every YouTube video that PK makes, he has the Fanatics Live referral link for the 25 bucks. And then he has the $20 off, catch him 20. So I think they're both doing it a little bit. Ponga doesn't have quite the following. He doesn't have his own solo channel. He just has Box Nostalgia, which should be live at this point. I will try to wrap up in the next 20 to 30 minutes, and I will forward people to them. Yes, they are live right now, I see. So we will raid them later. But yeah, they stream every night. So Ponga is Thursdays and Sundays. PK is every other night. So PK is Monday to Wednesday and Friday and Saturday. They're live every night on Fanatics. Ponga usually goes live at 8, and then PK usually goes live at 8:30. So as we speak right now, PK is live on Fanatics because it is Wednesday night. He is ripping. Yeah. So PK, I'm gonna post it. Sorry, PK, I've got to out you. This is what he says in his. Oh, I need to email them too. I forgot to. I had a call with Fanatics earlier, and they had a recommendation for our titles that we need to edit slightly. So PK and Ponga, if you're listening right now, we need to change our title format slightly to just add the date or the day of the week so that we can troubleshoot easier if and when there's an issue with a stream. Because all of our streams have the same title, and it just makes it harder for them to stand out from what they are. So if we just add the date in with our title somewhere, it'll make things easier. But yeah, he spells it as Terrestrial Festival, which it's just Terrestrial Festival. So PK, you gotta fix your spelling on your title too, and we gotta add the date in there. But yeah, I want to be better about it though too. So I want to be better in the future about advertising where and when they're live. I don't know how I'll do it yet, but I kind of want to have like some kind of a calendar. I use Google Calendar daily. I cannot keep track of what I have to do every day and every week and every month. If I don't have it, I have on there all the tasks I have to do, all the Christmas parties that we go to, all the dentist appointments, doctor's appointments, whatever it may be. I have to keep track of it in a calendar or I will forget everything. I want to have some kind of like a live interactive calendar on my website, whether it's a scrolling banner of the next event coming up. Like, hey, today's Wednesday. Dan's going to be live tonight on YouTube at 8:30 p.m. Or tonight's Thursday. Ponga's going to be live at 8 p.m. on Fanatics. I want to have some kind of a calendar of upcoming events like Pokeflips. I want to just have that on my website, easily searched and pointed at. Like, hey, this is where I can interact with Catch 'em All Collectibles next. I think that's a good idea, and I'm paying for my website, and I'm underutilizing it, I believe. Yeah, grading is definitely less gambling the more volume that you have. The law of large numbers, like you are definitely getting more of the average outcome, which is what I'm trying to act on. But individually, especially when you're playing the Black Label Lottery, there's a lot of gambling involved. Appreciate you, Paul. I like to characterize grading as gambling, except I'm the house. PSA is more the house than anyone. But PSA is the house, eBay is the house, Fanatics is the house. But I can kind of be the house too. So if I go in and I sit down and I play blackjack or roulette, the odds are stacked against me. Mathematically, long enough time frame, I will lose money. Sports is a little different. You can maybe skill your way to beating the bookie. I do not possess that skill. I am not beating the bookie long term. Pretty neutral overall, I think. Maybe slightly up. But in Pokemon, you can be the house. You can have the edge if you do it properly. So I really like gambling from that side of the table. Anthony Martinez says, question with your best guess, where do you see Prismatic ETBs releasing at? Also, do you think there will be so much downward pressure with people selling that the ETBs stay at 100? I will say my confidence level with this is sub 30%, but I see Prismatic ETBs being 100 plus within 2 weeks of release. I am getting very few. I've heard of a lot of other people getting very few. This is not by any means me intending to pump the market. I will tell you exactly how much of any product. I've already done it. I don't remember all the exact numbers, but I'm getting like 30 grand of Prismatic, 20 to 30 grand of Prismatic at release. PK and Ponga will sell that within 3 weeks, if not sooner. I will not have enough. I will be going back into the open market to buy more Prismatic at 70 to 85% of market, probably closer to 85% of market. I'm buying Surging. So I started 6 weeks ago. When did Surging release? I don't remember. I started then with 38 cases. I kick myself for having sold like 8 on eBay. I put 4 on my pallet, so those 4 are gone. I sold through so many cases on Fanatics just between PK and Ponga. I'm actively buying Surging at like 75 to 80% from the open market because we functionally ran out of Surging. I will be doing the same thing with Prismatic, only instead of 6 weeks later, 2 to 3 weeks later. At the rates that we are currently ripping product, at the hype level that Prismatic will have, I'm concerned for Prismatic because I will not have enough. I will sell 0 ETBs in sealed ETB cases on eBay. I will sell 0 sealed ETBs directly anywhere else other than live streams. They will solely be for Ponga and PK at slightly above market so that I can pay them and achieve 95% of market net payout to me. So yeah, I'm concerned for Prismatic, but like one interesting angle that I've had this conversation with people before, probably in Pokenomics Patreon or elsewhere, but I'm not that scared because I'm making a ton of money on what I sell at launch, what I get at launch, because I'm getting it wholesale. And then say it does go to the moon, say it goes to 120. There will be people botting Target releases and Walmart releases and Costco releases. There will be people selling at 80 to 85%, and I will be able to get it one way or the other. I might have to pay 85% of $120, but like if it's $120 ETB, it will be hard to get, but it will also be easy to get, if that makes sense. Because it will be easy to say, like, I'm literally paying you $100 in ETB, please sell to me. People will bottom off some website and sell them to me and double their money. Like, I don't care. As long as I get them at 70 to 85% and I can sell and make my margin, I will need them. I will need them. The market is going to be crazy for them. And I wish it would release cheaper, truly. I truly wish it would release cheaper. And I wish I was getting significantly more. But it's the market that we're in. And you can't just cry about it and do nothing. Like, you need to just act, right? I'm running live streams, and I need to keep the live streamers fed. People will want to rip that, and I need to have it there for them. What does better for you on Fanatics, auctions, or packs? Packs. Packs are nice because it's a buy it now. You price the pack, and if it sells, you make the known fixed margin that you pre-built into the pricing. Auctions are inherently more volatile. Auctions, you can sell a $5 single for $25, and people will very quickly let their minds go to like, hey, I sold that one $5 single for $25. I sold that $30 promo for $50 that one time. And then very quickly they'll forget about all the $8 cards they sold for $5. That's 60%, 65%. They will forget about all the $10 cards they sold for $7. That's only 70%. Overall, the long-term average of like what we're getting on singles and slabs is probably almost definitely 80 to 90% tops. Like there's the occasional 300, 500% on cheap stuff. But when you get 60% on something higher end, that wipes away a lot of 300% on dollar cards, right? So overall, I think the margins are still fine. The margins are still fine that I haven't told PK and Ponga to like stop selling singles. We're bleeding. But we're definitely not doing amazing on slabs and singles overall. I don't think. Like I've kind of intentionally not looked too closely lately, because even if we are, say we're doing 110% on average, that would be news to me. I don't think that's the case. But say we're doing 110% recently on slabs and singles. It's a booming time, and I don't think that's going to be replicable for the entire year. Packs are more replicable. Packs are more, like, I want to build more things off ripping packs. Why not sell your Bitcoin for $100,000 plus? Imagine a 100K pallet of modern Pokemon. So opportunity cost, I think the blend of my net worth that is Pokemon already, I don't want to sell my minimal holding in crypto as a relative percentage of my net worth to more drastically increase what is the majority of my net worth in Pokemon. Like if you put Pokemon versus S&P 500 versus real estate, the house that I live in, I don't have any other real estate, versus crypto. Crypto is my least. So I don't want to lower my listing. I truly think, I'm not calling for it, I'm not guaranteeing it by any means. Bitcoin could be $1 million in 5 or 10 or 20 years. And if that were to happen, that would be massive. That would be life-changing money. If that happens in 20 years, me selling all my Bitcoin in 20 years at $1 million a piece wouldn't be life-changing money at that point lately anymore. So I'm not selling it all today because it's not life-changing money. If it became life-changing money, I would sell. But yeah, I like my portfolio blend where it's at right now. So that's why I'm holding on to it. I'm not committing to a time yet. I'm not committing entirely. I'm not even committing entirely to launching on eBay Live. I am giving it good thought, but I might bring on a third streamer on Fanatics and stay solely Fanatics. I'm not entirely sure yet. I anticipate in Q1 of 2025, I will have a third streamer. I am not committing to that fully yet. At some point in the coming weeks and months, I might commit to that fully, but I will likely have a third streamer on, likely. Greater than 60% chance I will have a third streamer on either Fanatics and or eBay in Q1 of 2025. That's all I can commit to right now. Under promise, over deliver. Should I hold my money for new sets like SV9 or invest in Evolving Skies booster box? Opportunity cost. Watch my video from Monday. I cannot answer it any more thoroughly than I did in my video on Monday. The true answer is it depends. If you want to feed me 5 minutes worth of specific intimate details to your personal finances, then I can answer it more thoroughly. But without that, watch my video on Monday and that will tell you the answer. I'm not investing in either though. I'm not investing in Evolving. I've sold Evolving. I'm not investing in Evolving anymore. I have 2 cases. I have 2 sealed cases left. But I am buying SV9 at wholesale costs from Distribution. Appreciate you. Let's rock it. Let's rock it with the $5 super chat. Do you think this set will create more hype around Evolving Skies with all the evolutions in it? Lots of new collectors didn't experience Evolving Skies. It's crazy to say that is the case, but that actually is the case. That there are a lot of people here today that were not around for Evolving Skies. That is wild to think, but it's truly the case. I think when a new version, a new iteration of something comes out, it provides some amount of a bump to people seeking like the old original product. Not that Prismatic Evolution is as direct of a reprint by any means of Evolving Skies as Celebrations Charizard was to the base set Charizard, but to some extent it's like, oh hey, Evolutions, I love Evolutions. Where else can I get Evolutions? Oh well, a few years ago there was a set called Evolving Skies that had a Moonbreon chase, that had all the other cards, like maybe some amount of additional exposure. But how much more exposure could Evolving Skies get? I think it's very well on everyone's radar, in my opinion. So my answer is maybe a small amount. Yeah, and then President Whale Cabal says doubtful, but it's a good entry for anyone interested in evolutions. Yes, Metazoo is coming back Q1 of 2025. I'm going to try in the next 10 to 20 minutes. I'm going to try to catch up with chat, and I will try to definitely, I'm going to call it at the latest. I will end at 10:30 so that I can raid Box Nostalgia and not take over their whole time frame that they're going to be live. But I will try to end within the next 10 to 20 minutes and then send people that way. Are they still live? Yes, there's... Oh, my YouTube just like freaked out and it showed as if they weren't. Yeah, they're live. So we'll raid them when we're done. Normies will definitely buy $12 packs and whatnot. Yes, it's this day and age, it's so much easier for boxes to go from $300 to $500 to $1,000 because a $1,000 box is only $30 booster packs. It used to be harder back in the day to break up so cleanly and nicely a $1,000 box into bite-sized chunks. Now you can do it every night. Every night. I'm contemplating some like events for early next year, throughout next year on Fanatics Live, potentially on eBay Live as well, where we break some higher end boxes, where we do our part to lower the supply of some potentially vintage, mid-era, higher end boxes. So 10 years ago, it was harder to get boxes broken to the level that they are today because of all these streaming platforms. All the way from $100 boxes all the way up to $100,000, $300,000 boxes. Think of a normie getting back into sports cards where the cheapest hobby store box is $120. Normies will buy $120 ETBs in my estimation. Yeah, crazy. If you just received many vintage hollows and wanted to send some to one of the big graders, would you pre-grade them and scrutinize them more closely compared to how you pre-grade modern? Yes. Most vintage sets were objectively printed in worse condition than modern cards. So depending on, like, if you're comparing some of these modern sets, like if you're comparing, we talked about earlier in Patreon, we talked about the Gold Star Greninja. That card was objectively printed very terrible. That card was printed worse than a lot of WotC sets, to be honest. So if I'm comparing it to Gold Star Greninjas, I would pre-grade them equally. I would scrutinize them equally. But if I'm comparing it to Celebrations Charizards, absolutely I will go over modern less than I will go over vintage because they're just objectively produced worse, the vintage ones. Would you only send the vintage to PSA in hopes of a quicker turnover rate or to a different grading card company? So if I think something will PSA 9, but I think it has a chance to CGC 10 or Beckett 9.5, I will likely go CGC or Beckett. If I think something has a chance to PSA 10, but not pristine or black label, I will likely go PSA. That is getting down with very fine resolution. It's hard to be, you're never going to be 100% accurate with that because PSA, CGC, and BGS themselves are not 100% accurate with that. But that's generally, I will generally send to the person that will make me the most money. I will send to the person that will give me the biggest number. If I will get a PSA 9, I will go with CGC to get a CGC 10 if I think I can get a 10. You ever hold on to cheap but minty singles to eventually grade them when the margin is higher, basically investing in cheap slabs without paying the grading fee for 99% of the time? The closest I do to this is I will buy occasionally. If there's a card I really, really like and I think it's way too cheap, Gold Star Greninja. When that card was $3, I bought hundreds. When that card went to $2, I bought hundreds more. When that card went to like barely over $1, I bought hundreds more. I might grade more of them in the future. I might not. I probably won't, considering how hard they are to grade. But similar goes for like any card. Yes, there's been a lot of cards. Someday, and it would be crazy to think, this card might be worth grading again someday. If and when it is, I'll have a bunch of them sealed, ready to go. But as of right now, like, I'm not going to grade them. Maybe someday I will again. I don't go out of my way to do it, but sometimes I find myself doing it because it's like, hey, this seems like a reasonable value. Another question, how did you determine the monthly subscription price for your Patreon being $10 a month? Not belittling it. Curious why it was $10 versus $5. So the way that Jake originally launched it. So Jake from Pokenomics originally launched the Patreon, I want to say in March of 2021. And he launched it at $5 with no additional benefits. So it was $5 a month with no additional benefits. He brought me on in September of 2021, and we added a Discord. When we added the Discord, we added the monthly Zoom call, and we added the weekly office hours. So people were paying, I think almost 100 people were paying Jake $5 a month for no additional content. Kind of like on YouTube, 99-cent membership, you get the emojis, right? You get something. But with the Patreon, it started at $5, which was kind of like arbitrarily chosen. Hey, if you want to support me, it's $5. Here you go. And then 10, we just doubled it. He doubled it to 10, thinking like, hey, people were paying $5 for nothing. Let's see if they'll pay 10 for something. Could have been 15, 20, 50, 100. Could have been any one of a bunch of different numbers. But that just felt reasonable. 10 was fairly arbitrary, but it felt reasonable. And if people value it at that or more, they'll pay it. And if they don't, they won't. And that's perfectly fine. So yeah, we put an offering out there and people can buy it or not buy it. And either one is perfectly fine with us. Happy holidays just got here. Did we talk about the MTG Kaladesh news yet? It's funny the timing. So I sold this on behalf of a consigner a while ago. And like a while after they received it, they opened a case because the box had a little tear on the corner. And I guess this box is significantly more valuable now. I think I have a couple more that the consigner owns. This one technically I own because I sold it. I paid out the consigner. I always, as a part of the consignments, like if a return ever comes back, I handle that on my own. Usually I'm losing money. Things are going down. That one apparently has gone up a ton. But I don't know exactly why or how or what's going on with that. I heard that certain things were banned or the name was changed or whatever it may be. I have a couple boxes on behalf of a consigner. I have one damaged return box on behalf of me, I guess. So, but I'm not gonna do not much else. At some point, I'll sell them all into the market, and that will be it. MSSP is a must watch. It's kind of in a low now with Shane out, but it's great. What is MSSP? That must be a podcast. Let me look up MSSP podcast. Matt and Shane's secret podcast. The comedy podcast. I will add one to my watch later and I will give it a try. Question, is the 151 PC ETB still undervalued? It's the rarest 151 product and not even 300 yet. Hidden face regular ETBs were 300. I don't think people remember. Calling something that is that significantly over, like I cannot call that undervalued. Might it go up? Yes. Might it go down? Yes. Might they reprint it? Yes. I have no idea. I don't have any. I have, maybe I have one. I might have one or two kicking around. But like, that is a play that I don't make. That is an area of the market that I don't participate in. So I don't have much commentary towards it. When are you going to start grading with PCG? I contemplated sending Rudy a sub because of the deal where you can get like a case. Or do a SMS alert for live streaming. If people subscribe, let me do my little spiel here. An hour and a half in. So if you're watching today, 134 people watching. A lot of these people are probably not subscribed. I don't look at my analytics. I don't know what % of you are subscribed versus not. But if you're here, if you're having a good time, I'm here live on YouTube every week. Every other week on PokeFlips, I'm live with Nick, Old School Pokemon. Every other episode, we have a special guest. Feel free to subscribe here if you want to see more content from me. Feel free to subscribe over on PokeFlips. We will be live this Friday with a special international guest who is new to the content space. I'm actually excited to have this be his YouTube. I think he's going to be making an Instagram. This is going to be his entry into the social media space to some extent. I don't know how deep he'll go into that in the future, but someone who's avidly buying and selling in the Pokemon space and potentially the Magic space too. We might talk about, so maybe we'll have more talk about that Friday too, because he might have additional insight. Nick and I won't have much insight on it, but yeah, I'm looking forward to the content Friday. Feel free to subscribe to me here. Subscribe to me there on PokeFlips, live every night on Fanatics Live. Down in the description below, if you want to get $45 worth of Pokemon product for $5, who doesn't want a 90% discount on Pokemon product? Go use that link below, sign up for Fanatics. Once this ends and you're listening to Box Nostalgia, open up your Fanatics Live app and code CATCHEM20 for $20 off your first buy it now order, and then $25 you will get from your link. So $45 worth of product, all you have to pay is $5 shipping. I had to do my little spiel. But yeah, I don't know if people would sign up for SMS alerts. Like, you can already ring the bell on YouTube if you want to subscribe. Ring the bell, you will be notified every time I go live. Then when our grandkids are 70 and Pokemon is public domain, will there be unlimited Evolving Skies reprints? That's hilarious. So Mickey Mouse himself has been the main driver, at least so I've heard. I've heard that Mickey Mouse and him coming into the public domain has largely been a driver for the duration of intellectual property being extended. So many years after it's created, so many years after its creator's death, kicking the can down the road so Mickey Mouse doesn't enter the public domain. Maybe they'll do a similar thing. Maybe they'll extend it for Pokemon so that Pikachu doesn't venture into the public domain. But it's an interesting thought. In this theoretical future, let's go extreme. 200 years from now, 300 years from now, when Pikachu is fully in the public domain, what's that going to do? What's going to happen with that? Very interesting thought. I have no idea. I think Pokemon will outlive me, but will it live 300 years? Will it live 300 years when people have been abusing all the characters and species in the public domain? I mean, wait till they go on with those Vaporeon stories, with those Typhlosion stories, with all those different stories, Octillery, that recently leaked about the history, the lore of some of these Pokemon. I don't think Pokemon wants to see that, but someday it'll be out of their hands, right? When it's in the public domain. Will they count as cryptids? In 200 years, will Quaxley be a cryptid? Because now he's in the public domain. Will Metazoo be able to have a Pokemon collaboration in 200 years when Pokemon's in the public domain? Very interesting thoughts. Should I sit on melodic SIR from surging or look to sell soon? Opportunity cost. Watch my video Monday. How much do you enjoy the card? What do you value the card at? What is the market value of the card at? I can't answer that for you. Will it go up or down? I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know. Do you think this set will... Oh, I answered that one. As a very small eBay seller, honestly thought my sales would go down around the holidays, but I've actually gotten more orders. I've heard so many different things about the seasonality of Pokemon and when they go up and down and this and that and the other thing. I don't buy into any of it. I never have. I've been in the hobby for 10 years, and I feel like any general rule that you would try to apply, oh, this month is good, this month is bad, I feel like half the time there's an exceptional thing going on, and it doesn't jive with what people deem to be the norm. I don't buy into any of those norms or any of those seasonalities. I don't think in most ways they're useful for anyone operating a business to like put too much credence into, because month over month, the overall market could drop 30% and someone could double their business in that month. So what you do on each individual day has more to do with what you're doing, less to do with what the market's doing overall. Like, absolutely, it has a drastic effect on it. But I don't think getting locked into these mentalities of, oh, seasonality, like, oh, it's the down season. We gotta do less now because it's the down season. Like, I don't do any of that ever. Yeah, I'm just always plodding along, taking what's coming. When buying packs off us common folk at 70 to 80%, where is shipping cost incorporated into the deal? Do you pay shipping? So when I make an offer, when I say that I'm offering $350 on Crown Zenith, I am offering, if you have 1,000 packs of Crown Zenith, which a lot of people have lately, you ship them to me. I give you my P.O. box. I give you a UPS address and a USPS address. If you want my business insurance to cover it, that can happen. I don't need to print you a label for that to happen. If you add signature to your shipment, my business insurance will cover it. So you sell 1,000 of these, you insert your information, your contact information, and your payout information. I receive it. So you covered shipping. You covered shipping. I receive it. The same day that I receive it, I pay you out. Zelle, ACH, wire, crypto, however you want to be paid. A physical check I can send you in the mail. So all the prices that I offer are landed prices to my P.O. box. And you cover shipping. You cover shipping. I pay out on the agreed upon price. Metazoo restock when? Do you like the Paradox Rift and Temporal Forces gimmick? I agree with Northwoods. No one likes or asked for dinosaur versions of the legendary dogs. I think it's kind of weird. I'm not a huge fan of the past and the future Pokemon. The fact, like, it's one thing. You have Executor, and then you have a Alolan Executor. They're both the same Pokédex number. One is a regional variant. You have Ninetales and Alolan Ninetales. You have Hisuian Growlithe, right? There's a lot of these different regional variants that are the same Pokemon in a different region, so they look a little different, but they're the same Pokédex number. To do past and future, and make like Dinosaur Suicune not be Suicune. He's Walking Wake or whatever. I'm not a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan personally. So, but I don't have like drastic feelings on that. Danazard says choose FI is better than afford anything, but Paul's up there. Oh yeah, another podcast that I enjoy, but I can only watch so much, right? The Iced Coffee Hour with Graham Stephan and Jack. I forget what Jack's last name is, but Graham and Jack, I really like. I like the way they think. I like the guests that they bring on. I like the conversations that they've had. I don't by any means watch all those. I watch all of Tasha's. I watch a quarter of Paula's maybe. I watch a sixth or an eighth of Iced Coffee Hours, but I usually do enjoy them when I watch them. First edition base break coming soon. Maybe first edition unlimited. First base set unlimited. Maybe. We'll see. Another Fanatics question. Does the PSA credit work for auction purchases? So if you are new to Fanatics, please use code CATCHM20 first. CATCHM20 will only apply to your first order. You have to use that first or it will be gone. CATCHM20 on your first 20 on your first $20 buy it now purchase. So it has to be buy it now. The PSA credit does work for auction or buy it now though. Just make sure you use code CATCHM20 first. Appreciate you being here, Snack Bread. I am ending fairly soon, but I appreciate everyone hanging out. Why is the 151 PC ETB only 250? It should probably be 2 times the UPC. That feels very arbitrary. It has significant less packs than the UPC. It has a different promo, but I like the UPC a lot better than the PC ETB. I have a lot more, full disclosure, I have a lot more UPCs than PC ETBs, but that's because I like them more. I fully believe, so Reeks fully believes in the tax season bump. People love spending their free money. Yeah, the thing is, like, a lot of people attribute the tax season bump to, like, April, but in my experiences, in my anecdotal experiences, most of the people who blow their tax refund money, they get refund anticipation loans in, like, early February. They pay extra money to get their money extra early, and they get a $7,000 refund, and they blow it all on stuff before the Super Bowl. Maybe they buy a new big screen TV for the Super Bowl. Walking through Walmart the other day, the amount of leftover Black Friday deals that I saw, 75-inch TVs for like $400, that blew my mind. Wild. So you get 45 from Fanatics. You sign up through the link below, and you get 25 through that link. Do not use that first, though. Code CATCHM20 while you're in Fanatics. Code CATCHM20 is only applicable on your first purchase. So if you've already bought something, it's too late. If you use your $25 credit you get for signing up, it's too late. You have to use code CATCHM20 on your first buy it now listing and then use your $25 credit. So you get $45 worth of cards for $5 shipping. Greeny asking the same question that's been asked. Kai said, "Oh yeah, Graham Stephan, my favorite con artist. I see why you like him." It's funny. I have a Yada account with $10,000 frozen in it because of Graham Stephan. I say it's funny about it. It's not funny at all. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the style of content that Graham makes on his main channel. I don't watch that content, but I actually like his long form content that he makes on I like the way a lot of people think about finances. I just don't like the watered down mainstream, kind of like in Pokemon. I want to be down the rabbit hole. I want to listen to you talk for 3 hours down the rabbit hole on the nuances of everything. I don't want to watch the main pleasing content to the masses of here's a TCG player chart. It went up, it went down, it's going to go up, it's going to go down. Reprints, yada, yada, yada. Cards that went up, top 5 Pokemon to invest in, top 5 this. I don't like that content, but it's mainstream. And I can't blame people for making it. I like Graham's long form content. I don't engage with his short form content because it's not for me. But I like his long form content. And yeah. But, refund and, like, are those not things around people? When I used to sit at the lunch table, I remember people talking about all the free money they'd get. None of them were waiting until April 15th. Not a one. They all had it before, barely after February 1st, barely after. They were on our HR department like, when am I getting my W-2? I need my W-2 now. It's January 2nd. I need my W-2. I need my 1099s. I need that refund anticipation loan. But yeah, with that, I'm going to end. I actually forgot. I've been ranting and rambling. I need to go in and set up the live stream redirect. Looks like they're doing a tier list right now. So when you go over to Ponga and Bierski and Peek at you, let them know that I sent you. I'm adding a redirect right now. And yes, here we go. So there's a live stream redirect enabled for the Box Nostalgia podcast, episode 21. Tell those guys that I sent you there. Hope everyone has a... Yeah, I am very into finance. It is a hobby of mine. It is a passion of mine. It is very sad how many things people do that are very detrimental to them. People that would be getting a $7,000, $8,000 refund ending up throwing 10%, 20% of that away to get it a month or two early basically like a payday loan, but on your refund. And the rates are all abhorrent. The rates are miserable, but people do it every day. BB Tom, ask very quickly. I'm gonna be wrapping up. I will be ending and going to Bierski and Ponga. If you can ask very quickly, I will answer it. But yeah, I appreciate everyone hanging out today. I'm going to end very soon. I will give it a few more seconds. It seems like the question is not going to come in time. Let me end with a little rant. So if you're going to reach out to me on Instagram, if you're going to reach out to me on Discord, email, wherever, please don't state that you have a question, or please don't ask if you can ask a question. Please just ask the question. Thank you, BB Tom. I see you asked the question now, but like, always just go for it. This is a Q&A. Don't ask if you can ask a question. Just go right for it, and we will save each other time. What's some best practice / tips for buying raw cards online? How can you inspect raw cards on a computer screen phone? You can't that well, is the true answer. But yeah, the amount of times I get a DM on Instagram like, hey, how's it going? Like, please just ask me your question. I'm getting to it, BB. But yeah, the Discord is, go to my link tree below. Let me actually post the Pokenomics Patreon. And if you want to join, I do have a Discord there. We talk about a bunch of Pokemon things. But yeah, I will say I blind buy cards with high 10 rates. I blind buy them on TCG Player. And even if you see scans, they might send a different one. They might be hiding something, accidentally or intentionally. So buying online is not perfect. It is great to buy in person when you can see everything, see it raw, pre-grade it yourself in hand. But there's no perfect way to pre-grade a card from photos. So kind of good luck is my answer, because there's no perfect way to do it. But yeah, with that, I've dragged this out long enough. I'm ending. I appreciate everyone watching. Everyone say hi to Ponga and Bierski and Peek Dat Chew for me. Let's go.